Welcome back, everybody, to the continuation of our recap of Pyanodons on Twitch. So, it's been a week, this time for real, and there have been, I think, only 2 or 3 streams in between the last recap, and a lot of stuff has happened. Most remarkably, there was an update to the Pi Modpack, and look and behold, it was not a breaking not a breaking change, not a breaking update. It was actually a very, very good and very productive update. Though things can still break, there were some things that got buffed. Especially things like, if we already go over it, things like natural gas over here. You now make about 2.5 times more natural gas out of raw gas as you used to be. So we're kind of backing up on natural gas over here, which is perfectly fine because we found a very good solution to use it, but more about that soon. Maybe let's continue on with the update for now. A lot of things got buffed and they introduced 2 new things. Actually, they reintroduced one old thing and they introduced one new thing. The new thing they introduced is beacons. They have reworked beacons entirely. The beacons they've introduced, they now work more or less the same as space exploration beacons, in the fact that you can only have like one beacon over here affect like a single building. Well, it's not quite sure if that is how it should be working or how it is intended. This might still be object of change, but you can already see this beacon over here. Look at that radius. It's insane. But the beacons, they definitely, it would not be Pyanodons if the beacons would not be complicated. The beacons definitely have a whole bunch of utilities with them. If we take a look at the Pi codex over here, we will see that the beacons over here are over here. The AM, FM beacons, they are called. The beacon uses radio signals to transmit module effects into nearby assembly machines. Each beacon has both an AM and an FM frequency that determines the effect, transmission efficiency, and power usage. If 2 beacons have the same AM-FM frequency, the signals will interfere and cancel each other out. Beacons do not accept productivity modules such as, well, productivity module. Good. So, the AM setting over here affects how large the radius is, and the FM ratio over here tells you how powerful the beacon will be. Of course, FM being the power slider affects power consumption quite a bit, like it grows by the power of 3. So if you slide it all the way up to 5, then you will be eating 125 times more megawatts than you would be using than you would be when you slide it all the way down to 1. The AM frequency, however, is the one that's most interesting. You got like 5 values. AM1 is like a 64 tile radius, AM2 is a 48 tile radius, AM3 a 32, AM4 16, and AM5 is a 2 tile radius. However, the shorter the range is, the higher the effect again is. Transmission efficiency is calculated by 0.5 times AM level times FM level. So if you put both of them to 5, you would get 0.5 times 5 times 5, or 0.5 times 25, which is the same as, is that 12.5? Really? Is that high? Let's have a look. We do find the beacons in here. Unless they put them on hidden mode. Oh, they put them on hidden mode. We can just do editor real quick. This is basically just a recap episode. So we can just open up the editor over here real quick and get ourselves an infinity chest or something like that. Where's the thing? Here we go. Here. Give me the cheat thingy. Here we go. Put you down for there. Good. And then close on the editor again. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Just to show it off, beacon. There we go. We're going to be deleting the save after. Or not deleting, we're going to be reloading the game so we don't have cheat mode enabled and stuff like that on. Good, remove this real quick. And then we also maybe want to get ourselves... where is it again? There we go. Some speed modules. There we go. Put those in here as well. Good. And then we can take a quick peek at... Where's the thing over there? The beacon. Look at this thing. Now, one thing I already really enjoyed with this beacon is the moment you put in like some modules. Where are they? Did we not pick them up? No, we did pick them up. Did we? Nah, I might have not picked them up. I just saw them in my inventory. They were over here. The moment you put them in a beacon, the color changes. Look at that. I like that. I like it a lot. Good. So now we got over here a simple level 1 AM FM beacon. And that also means that we got the distribution efficiency of 0.5 over a tile radius of, well, all of that. And of course, we also have the modules in. The modules themselves also got buffed. Speed modules are way more powerful on level 1, 2, and 3. productivity modules are also way more powerful on level 1, 2, and 3. The level 1 productivity module over here gives you 10% productivity. The level 2 gives you 20. The level 3 gives you 30% more productivity. However, I'm pretty sure that the amount of buildings that will accept productivity modules will be very, very, very limited. Mostly due to the insane amount of crafting levels we have. I mean, even a productivity bonus of 10%, if we have like 10 steps of crafting, a compound interest of 10% is quite a lot. That is quite the intense increase. But most of the buildings do not accept productivity modules, but I think some of them will. We will have to figure out which that will be once we get there. Let's maybe check on you. Yeah, for example, here, this one. Mechanical parts does accept them, but things like, oh, you also do? Okay, these do. Tin wire does. Radars do not. Stakes do. Air core inductors do not. Here we go. So yeah, there's only a limited amount of things that do get accepted with productivity modules, especially things like, if we go a little bit deeper, do we have like a jaw crusher in here or something like that? No, probably not, but we can pick up over here. There we go. No, drop them over there. Yeah, things like, for example, if we would do something like here, let's just go for iron crushing over here. This one over here will not accept productivity modules, and the whole iron processing chain will not accept productivity modules. Good. Nevertheless, back to the new beacons and how they work. Well, before we even get to beacons, the beacons are, of course, in the tech tree, and they're, well, productivity science. So we will not be seeing them anytime soon, and we're going to take this thing out again after we're done over here. But let's have a look at these sliders then again. So if we slide this all the way up to level 5 on the AM scale, we will notice the radius over here is tiny. It's a tiny, tiny radius. And the distribution efficiency of 2.5, however, which means these two speed modules in here, which give us a speed increase of 200%, actually give us 2.5 times the effect. So we get a speed increase of 500%, which means this machine over here is running at crafting speed 6, which is absolutely ludicrous. However, we're not done there yet. We can also increase the FM scale over here and slide it all the way to the maximum. And then we do get a distribution efficiency of 12.5%. Wow. That is hefty. That is really, really hefty. This building over here now also consumes 625 megawatts of power. It will, well, it's not causing us to crash yet, but it is definitely the top contender of everything. And this crafting machine over here now has a crafting speed of 26. Now keep in mind, later on we do get buildings that have higher base crafting speeds. So the assembly machine over here has a crafting speed of 2, crafting speed of 3, crafting speed of 4. So technically the final crafting speed, if we do give them like full power, would be something like 104. And 104 crafting speed is pretty insane. However, we might just want to slide this one down again and maybe just concentrate on the AM side, which means we still got an efficiency bonus of 2.5 on a radius of, well, we can almost, it almost encapsulates the whole mall. And every machine over here now has a crafting speed of 6, which is also pretty darn good. One reminder though, if you still got installed the beacon rework mod, you have to take that out, else you will not be able to load your save file. So if you took my save file to synchronize your mods, you have to take out the beacon rework mod, because it's absolutely incompatible with that one. Good, but I really love this change. Like, the new beacons over here, bloody amazing. I can't wait to be fucking around with them. Good. Let's just load the game real quick. Not the autosave. This one over here. Just so that we can get rid of the editor and that we don't basically have not tainted our game yet. There we go. It's also loading a bit. There we go. Did it crash? Oh no. It took a while. What the hell? Good. Achievements are still in. Excellent. Perfect. Good. The other thing that they reintroduced is the magnificent, the absolutely incredible technological upgrade and research device, also known as the T.U.R.D system. Welcome to the technological upgrade and research device. This page contains permanent upgrades to specific machines. Research the primary technology for the technology tree and the T.U.R.D Upgrade options will become available from this menu. Available upgrades include permanent module bonuses, new recipes, and new recipe upgrades. Speed bonuses scale with the farm building tier. Productivity bonuses apply to all recipes in a machine. Good. So the T.U.R.D system was introduced in Pi Alien Life, and back then, it was there. Was a bit buggy. We had some issues with it, but it seems they completely refined it and took out all of the issues that were known of it, and they actually made it really, really good. For every T.U.R.D research, you get basically a choice of 3 texts, of which you have to select one, and then the other ones will become unavailable. So you have to make a choice over here. And we had quite a hard time trying to figure out what we wanted to choose for some of these. For some of them, it was a little bit more easier than others. But usually these technologies give you like one incredible upgrade at the cost that you will never ever get the other two. Well, not really never ever ever. If you're deep enough in the research tree, at some point in time, you will be able to research the T.U.R.D reset, which is a lovely icon of a toilet roll. This thing is bloody amazing. And that will reset all of your T.U.R.D researches, which is also pretty darn good. And there's even an infinite version of it if you want to reset it a couple more times. Though the infinite version does cost space science packs, and I'm not quite sure if we will ever use that or not. Nevertheless, the T.U.R.D upgrades, let's have a look at them. You'll find them in your Pi Codex over here under the T.U.R.D entry. And for example, the Fastwood Forestry over here, we have the choice between dry storage, selective cutting heads, and internal burner. Let's maybe look at the ones we didn't choose before we look at the one we did choose. The selective cutting heads over here, that changes the recipe for wood cutting. Basically, remove branches and excess bark during the cutting as preparation for further processing. The second stage of wood processing becomes much faster, and this more or less gives you a new recipe. This is the old one, 4 logs into 20 wood in 4 seconds, and then the new recipe is 4 logs in 1 second into 20 wood. So basically, it just improves the speed of the recipe by a factor of 4. We didn't choose this one because I don't really see the merit of this one. If we want to have this kind of speed, we could just put down 4 wood processing units. Though having less entities on the map is definitely a good idea, but I didn't really think like this over here would be any good for us. Then, internal burner. Use sticks, wood chips, and leaves to fuel an internal burner. The burner will generate part of the electricity consumed by the building. It can also create ashes as a byproduct. So, more or less, we need... it changes the recipe over here for the fastwood forestry that we now need to add a stone furnace to it to make the fastwood forestry. It also changed up the recipes over here that require ash, so that they require less ash. Also, it comes with a bit of an upgrade in the building itself. Every tree farm or fastwood forestry over here has a speed increase of 8%. It reduces the energy consumption it has, and that's basically it. Now, we didn't choose this one for the sole reason that we have quite the big ash sink over here, which eats a lot of ash. And if we would choose one of those recipes or the internal burner, then this thing over here would suddenly stop eating up as much ash, and we do want it. We do want that thing to eat as much ash as we can, because that is also where we get the most of our tar from. Maybe for you it's different. Maybe if you're playing along, maybe you have a different priority for those. But for us, definitely that one was not the priority. And then, of course, the one we chose, which is the dry storage. Allows logs to rest several days in the sun to remove excess moisture and improve fiber quality by weight. Now, this one is pretty good in my opinion, because it changes the wood to raw fiber recipe from 10 wood into 2 raw fiber every 10 seconds to... Oh, I just noticed that the crafting time over here pretty much increases quite a bit. I thought it just doubled it. But nevertheless, 10 wood into 4 raw fiber over 30 seconds. So we do need to adjust. We only have one build that gets adjusted by this, but getting more raw fiber out of wood is pretty good in my opinion, because at the beginning, we don't have key calc yet. So the only source for our raw fiber is wood. We also get some biomass out of it, and I'm pretty happy with this recipe. So that is the one we chose. Also over here, the fiber out of raw fiber recipe also gets upgraded. 10 raw fiber every 2 seconds into 5 fiber gets upgraded into 10 raw fiber every 2.4 seconds into 6 fiber. Now, we still make the same amount of fiber per second. We just require less raw fiber. And fiber is definitely a thing we're going to need quite a bit of later on. So that was more or less the reason why we chose this recipe. We also got unlocked already the Moondrop upgrades and the Rock upgrades. And if you look at your tech tree, you will see that you will see these red upgrade symbols everywhere for T.U.R.D recipes we need to unlock. Now, be careful though. These T.U.R.D upgrades, the recipe themselves, they are quite expensive tech-wise. They do take quite a lot of tech packs. If we compare that, for example, to the gas power over here, that is 500. And if we compare that to the seaweed upgrade, that's 8,000. So it is going to take some time to research these, but they are well worth the efforts to put in, because all of these upgrades, all of them, are absolutely incredible. The Moondrops over here come with 3 options. Copper edition. Moondrops have several copper-containing enzymes that play an important role in photosynthesis, respiration, and formation of lignin. This process requires soil rich in copper and is what gives them their distinct bluish colors. Novice soil requires and naturally has trace amounts of copper. However, the addition of raw copper or in the fertilization routine will improve the crop yield. Basically, we add copper to the recipe to get more Moondrops out of them. We didn't choose this one because later on, the Moondrop recipes, they already get kind of complicated, where we need to bring in ash, soil, biomass, pesticides, fertilizer, urea, Moondrop seeds, gasoline, refined syngas, and we could also add copper ore to that, and that will make the recipe 10% faster and about 10% more productive, which is a pretty good increase. But I don't really want to add even more stuff to my Moondrops, especially copper ore and stuff like that. I just didn't want to do this one. The other one down here, carbon capture, installs small filters that will absorb escaping carbon dioxide from the greenhouses, helping Moondrops in their carbon capture, allows self-sufficient production of carbon dioxide without external inputs. Now, basically what this does is we can put down a Moondrop greenhouse somewhere, and we can set it up so that it will always be producing carbon dioxide. Pretty good if you think about it. We basically get carbon dioxide for free. However, we have the biomass to carbon dioxide recipe. Not this one. Yeah, this one over here. And the biomass to carbon dioxide recipe is, in my opinion, just absolutely amazing. Biomass is something we always have. And one piece of biomass makes us 5 pieces of biomass makes us 150 carbon dioxide, or one piece of biomass makes us 30 carbon dioxide, which is pretty good. It makes so much carbon dioxide, and we never really need that much carbon dioxide. And like I said, biomass is something that is always going to be around. Biomass is always a byproduct. Biomass is always a thing that we can make out of organic matter. For example, over here, you might notice that we added some sap farms over here. We basically did that to keep the pollution over here in check, because the pollution from this place over here went all the way over there and almost hit the parts over there. But the sap that we make over here, we can easily turn that into biomass, and currently we're turning that into flue gas, and then we turn that into ash, but making biomass is really not an issue. So we did not choose the Moondrop upgrade for that. We just went with the Moonlight upgrade. Moondrops got their name because of the flowers only open under the light of the novice moons. Install special high-powered lamps into the greenhouse and improve production by constantly simulating novice moonlight. And what this does is it upgrades the recipe for the Moondrop greenhouses by adding a requirement for lamps, which is fair. And every Moondrop farm comes now with this Moonlight upgrade in it, and that just increases the production speed by 20% flat. And also gives us a productivity bonus of 2%, which, in my opinion, is absolutely fair. And then we don't really need to work around with copper. We don't really need any more carbon dioxide. We just have a flat bonus, and I'm happy with that. Absolutely happy. Good. And then finally, the rock upgrades. This one was also a bit weird. This one gives us either new recipes, a module, or a completely new recipe outside of the rock laboratory. We went, of course, with the wellness synthesis, but let's maybe go over here with reused water. Freshen up and reuse any wastewater produced by these native creatures. They will be drinking the same barrel of water for the rest of their life. What this basically does is it takes out the water barrel requirement out of the recipes for the rock farms and for the egg production over here. However, to be perfectly honest, I don't really mind the barrel recipe in here because usually we have the barreling machine right next to it and, well, they just move around. They just pick up the barrel, put it back in, and it moves. It always moves. So I really did not really think that this would be any good. Though I've heard from other people they really liked it because they don't really want to be handling barrels much, which is also pretty fair. The natural cycle over here, turning off lights during night to bring those rocks more comfort. It will also save energy in these buildings and allow those rocks to be more productive in the morning. Respecting rocks' sleeping patterns will reduce speed. But what this basically does is, what do we add in here? Oh, oh God! I just noticed. We basically, when we make a rock paddock over here, we get lamps. So you craft yourself, the recipe for the rock paddock will be changed so that you don't make a paddock by itself, you make the paddock and you get 32 lamps out of it as well. They get added the natural cycle module over there, which reduces the crafting speed overall, but gives us a productivity bonus and it reduces the energy consumption. It's fair, it definitely is fair, but I don't think it's that required. Now, the Whirlner synthesis over here, way better. Rock biology naturally produces formic acid in the bloodstream. Use this useful chemical to break down the molecular structure of cyanic waste compounds into its constituents. There we go. And this gives us a recipe. And this is a pretty decent recipe, which allows us to turn cyanic acid by combining it with hydrogen and formic acid into ammonia and carbon dioxide. We turn 60 cyanic acid into 350 ammonia, or 30 cyanic acid into 175. Keep that number in mind, because if we want to make cyanic acid, we have to make some urea. So we can take 20 urea, turn that into 30 cyanic acid, which we then can turn into 175 ammonia, or if you put it all together, we can turn 20 urea into 205 ammonia. Now, there is another way to make ammonia, and that is by cooking up urea straight into ammonia. But this over here only takes 20 and turns that into 100. And we still need to research it, which is going to take forever. But this allows us to make a decent amount of ammonia just out of urea. Also, later on, if we want to make cyanic acid, like as a main loop, we could take some coal, take some methane gas, take some ammonia, and turn 100 ammonia into 100 cyanic acid. However, that 100 cyanic acid we could turn into about 500 ammonia, and then just add more coal and methane to make yet again cyanic acid. You can already see over here that we have a really nice loop over here, which makes this possible. And there were also some other recipes. What was it? It was... yeah, it was the one for the ammonia, and then for the formic acid. Yes, for the this recipe. We'll get to that later, I think. Not today. The formic acid over here. We can make formic acid out of formamide. And 100 formamide makes 100 formic acid. And formamide is made out of ammonia. And it has a methanol catalyst in it. So we can basically take the ammonia, add some carbon dioxide to it. Oh, actually, I just noticed this. This is really good. We could take the ammonia, add some carbon dioxide to it. We have the methanol as a catalyst in here. Make the formamide. We take the formamide, add some sulfuric acid to it, turn it into formic acid. We take the formic acid, add some cyanic acid to it. Then we get more ammonia out of it. And then we add some carbon dioxide. And then we take the ammonia out of it again. And we can turn it back into formic acid. Good. So we got some that recipe is really good in my opinion. It's a really good recipe. Now later on you do get other recipes to make ammonia, and I think by far the best is still this one over here, because you can just make it out of pure nitrogen and pure hydrogen and just add some chromium as a catalyst to make a good amount of ammonia. But I think the other one might just be better. Good. Nevertheless, that is enough about those turret upgrades. There will be even more turret upgrades to come. Let's have a quick peek at what else we did in the base. We did have that big power out, and we did brownout protect a lot of power plants. We did move this oil power plant over here into a pure coal power plant. I'm not quite sure if we had that in the last stream recap. But, oh yeah, one more thing, and we do have to check this one out. This recap might be a little bit longer because we have to get there. We did one more absolutely magnificent change, and that is more or less going to, now, won't win the game for us, but it's going to make our life oh so much easier. Like, so much easier. So much easier. And it's a thing we already tried in the past, but we kind of failed at it, and then we just like ignored it for a bit until we finally figured it out how to do it. And that is multiple liquids in a pipe system. And multiple liquids in the pipe system that does not get stuck. That is the important part. Over here, we got ourselves a system which we call over here the combustion mixture requester. Now, combustion mixture was a thing that was used in the Pi mods in the previous versions, where we just make combustion mixture and we use that to generate power. It doesn't exist in this mod pack, so we are abusing this symbol for something else. But what we have over here is just generic liquids with a fuel value, which we want to burn off for machines that require liquid power to operate. And you can already see that over here, something is already going on. In these two tanks, we got light oil. Ooh, hello, train. Wait, what are you? Oh, you're parking. I see. You're parking here. We got in these two tanks, we got light oil. In this tank, we got kerosene. And in the whole liquid system, we got kerosene, light oil, syngas, aromatics. And there could be even more liquids in here. So we got a liquid system over here, or a fluid system, or the same pipe system with different liquids inside them. And that is bloody amazing. So how does this work? Well, basically, you need a lot of pumps. You can't have multiple liquids in the same pipe system. The thing you have to prevent is backflow. The moment liquids start to flow into the opposite direction is when things can get stuck. That is the quintessence. So that's also the reason why we might have maybe a little bit too many pumps, but I would rather have a pump too much than a pump not enough, because a pump not enough would mean that the system breaks. A pump too much does not mean that the system will break at all. Good. But we can already see we pump everything over here, or we try to pump everything in this tank. From the tank, we pump it into a pipe. And most important part is going to be over here, where we get to the first junction of this pipe, which is all the way over here. Once we reach a junction, we pump it into the junction. We do not pump out of the junction, we pump into the junction. So that there's always pressure on the pipe and liquids always get flushed in one direction. You have to make sure that there's only one direction of flow in your pipes. Then this will work. And we can see over here, this pipe over here is kerosene. This one over here is kerosene. If we go all the way over here, that's this pipe still, kerosene, kerosene, and then suddenly down here, aromatics. And if we follow this way, light oil. And then we go this way around. This thing over here, internally, still uses light oil. The pipe has aromatics. If we follow you around, aromatics, aromatics. And we go down here. Then the pump over here has light oil. The machine has light oil, but the pipe in front of it has aromatics. If we go all the way back over here where we came from, over here, again, kerosene into light oil, but the machine itself has aromatics in it. And then the light oil pipe over here goes all the way up to the top over here, where we have then aromatics over here, light oil over here again, and then aromatics over there, and then again light oil, and it all seems to be working, well, perfectly fine. These machines are not working because they're backed up, by the way, so it's not like they're broken or anything like that. And then, of course, we got the rest of the pipe, which is down here somewhere. Yeah, we got this junction over here, where the pipe then goes this way, where the kerosene is in. And then we got kerosene in the pipe over here, light oil in the building. And then over here, kerosene in the pipe, light oil in the pipe suddenly over here, and light oil in the building. And then we go further up, and we follow this whole thing all the way to up here. Where is it? Where we have syngas in there. Wait a minute. Oh, this... Oh, it broke. Perfect. I'm not quite confident yet that it is 100% functional yet. There might still be some issues. This network over here is the most complicated network that we have. And I'm pretty sure that this one over here will every now and then have some issues. And I'm very happy that we have some issues over here. I'm just going to vent the syngas real quick. Here we go. And I guess also the light oil. Now we can't went to the light oil. Let's just disconnect you, and then there we go. Good. Oh, there's definitely some issues in the pipe. There's still some kinks we need to figure out, but this pipe system over here is very, very convoluted and very, very insane. If we would make it a more simple pipe system, for example, something like this, it will definitely work all the time. But we definitely have to put some more effort in it and put some more tweaks in it. We will probably have to debug it every now and then. But that pipeline over there was working for the longest of times, and I was very, very happy with it. Let's maybe have another checkup over here, because where does that liquid even come from? Oh, it's so confusing. It comes from over here. Yes, it comes from over here. Because you still got some random light oil in you. Then how about we just pick up you, get the light oil out, and off we go. And now it works again. Good. And now these machines over there work again. Yes, definitely not an easy task. Definitely a high level of Factorio play, which is still bug prone. But you can definitely put multiple liquids in a pipe. And I think the thing that broke over here was maybe just not enough pumps. Probably not enough pumps. Good, but do give me your ideas on multi-liquid pipes. But that will be it for today. If you do like what you see, please do leave a like, a follow, a comment, a subscription. Every one of those actions does help me out in growing this channel into something bloody amazing. You can also find me on twitch.tv/botviking, where we play more of this lovely Factorio map, as well as some Darkest Dungeon every now and then. Nevertheless, thank you so much for today, and have an amazing evening, and until next time, see you around!